Are these staying open now?
Hello, everyone. Yes, I get Judge Green's gavel. Oh my God, no. No. Hello, everyone. So sorry about all the seating or the limited seating. Thank you for those of you who stood up and let some of the people sit down. First of all, welcome Houston, welcome surrounding Houston area. We have a lot of nice people here today, communities. We also have mayors here, judges here, commissioners here, deputy sheriffs are here, and I'm sure I'm missing a few. There's a lot in my mind, dignitaries here, and I'm very grateful and thankful that you all were able to come, so thank you for that. Thank you to Houston for coming and allowing us to share with you our, actually it's not our GDOT plan, it's somebody else's GDOT plan. Ours would be probably a little bit different. The council welcomes two GDOT representative, one from our Gainesville office, and that's Justin Lott. Justin, if you would stand up. Thank you for coming. And the other one is from the Atlanta office, and her name is Kelly Martin. Kelly, if you don't mind. Kelly, do you want to take it away? Great, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to hold questions. Would you like them at the end?
Yeah, that's what I was going to go through the agenda. But yeah, if you guys write them down, jot them down, but we'll hold questions to the end. We have two separate presentations. By the way, no relation to the mayor, even though we have the same last name. My last name is actually fairly new, still getting used to it. But thank you. My name is Kelly Martin. I am the Assistant Planning Director for Rural and Metro Planning for the state. So I work in the Atlanta office, as the mayor mentioned. I've been with GDOT since 2005. Georgia born and raised. Lived in Clayton County, then Fayette County, Cobb County, Cherokee County. So I've been around, definitely seen the growth. Justin actually, just found out tonight, was raised in Brazelton. So he's a lot more familiar with the local area and also has seen some changes as well. I also just met the judge, so I asked to use a gavel if the meeting gets out of hand. But all right, so I will go ahead. If I'm going to be doing next slide. We don't have a clicker, so next slide, please. The agenda tonight is pretty straightforward. I am going to give the crowd an update on a study that we've been working on for the past 2 years with the cities and counties in this general region. It's the Brazelton-Houston Mobility Study, and it's otherwise known as BHAM, so you might hear that acronym a lot. That's what we usually do with our studies, is find a nice little acronym, and then I'm going to turn the presentation over to Justin after that. He'll give you an update on local projects in your area. So next slide. And can everybody hear me okay? Okay. All right, so as I mentioned, this study started 2 years ago in 2022. The reason for looking at this area was there's been a lot of interest in a new interchange at State Route 60 for years. And we knew that there needed to be a more holistic look at the whole transportation network. Pretty sure that the interchange wasn't going to solve all the transportation issues, so we wanted to look at what the existing conditions are currently, look at projections out to the future. When we do that, we're looking at what the expected growth is for development patterns, growth in your economy around here, growth in traffic, and just growth in general population. That's obviously going to impact the transportation network. And the idea behind this was to develop a package of potential recommendations to help with mobility in this area. We've held 4 stakeholder meetings so far, the last one in November, and we've gotten great feedback. They've all been well attended from representatives from all the cities and counties. Been able to hear about what is going on locally. I've seen it firsthand myself. I got up here early, drove around. Definitely know there's a lot of congestion. I've seen a lot of backup at the interchanges, and there's a ton of development. I actually asked somebody earlier if there's any tract of land that's not being built on. So I can definitely appreciate some of the concern with the traffic problems in the area. So next slide. So what we wanted to do with this study was look at 2 topics during the analysis of this area. First, regional connectivity, so looking at moving traffic throughout the whole region, not just in this downtown location, but then also looking for local operational improvements to help throughput on State Route 53. Really, the main goal of this study is to move traffic from 53 and help relieve traffic congestion through Braselton and Houston, and then help regional throughput on other large network routes around here. All right, next slide. So whenever we're looking at potential improvements to the transportation network, we want to look at a way of how do we evaluate these. There's going to be multiple competing interests for why we should move a project forward, but one of the best ways when you're starting with a large area and there's a lot of potentials for projects is first looking at, okay, what are we trying to relieve? This one is we're trying to reduce traffic through downtown Houston. So that was one of the things we looked at when we were modeling different improvements to the roadway network was, does this relieve traffic through downtown? And then are the improvements cost effective? You can have some improvements that are going to be similarly expensive to another one, but you won't see as many improvements in the transportation network, whether that's reduction in the number of cars or reduction in hours of delay, things along those lines. And then do the improvements reduce regional delay? So we were able to use a traffic simulation model. This is how a lot of the metropolitan planning organizations throughout the state, a lot of our traffic consultants, that's the best planning tool that we have to simulate what traffic movements are going to look like as growth continues down the years. So we looked at hours of delay reduction within all 4 counties that are in the study area. Next slide. So before I show you the package of projects that showed the most potential for benefit, a couple of things I wanted to point out is that there's not one improvement to the roadway network around here that's going to solve all the traffic problems. So that's the first thing to keep in mind when you're looking at these. As y'all know, the region is going to continue to experience growth. That is good and bad. It's great, obviously, for potential for jobs. It's great for the state's economy. But also, it's going to be a mindset shift for a community that may have been smaller in the past and is continuing to grow. And what I mean by that is for urban areas in the state, we look at something called level of service. And level of service is really how much roadway capacity can the road accommodate. So we give it a grade, much like you would see in school, of A through F, A being free flow traffic, F being complete gridlock. For most urban areas, what's considered acceptable level of service is a D. So that's, I'm just also trying to level set and set expectations here. So that's where not every traffic improvement is going to solve all the traffic congestion, especially if the growth is continuing as we're attempting to fix the problems. So what we're looking at is a collection of improvements on a lot of the state routes around here. And then also we looked at operational improvements. Those are going to be smaller scale, like a signal retiming, turn lanes, fixes to the intersections that are a lot less expensive usually than a large capacity, like a widening project of a roadway, and also a lot quicker to implement. So when you see the package of projects that we looked at in the study, understand that it's, one, not feasible that these are all going to be implemented. Like, these are not all going to go under construction at the same exact time. We can phase them in over the years, and hopefully do the smaller operational ones first to try to see some delay reduction at key intersections, and then turn our focus to some of the bigger capacity widening projects. So next slide. All right, so what you are seeing here is the combination of improvements that we modeled in the traffic, or what we call the travel demand model. The total cost, and this is where I really want to also make sure everyone understands, these are what we call planning level cost estimates. So there are best guess at what the costs are going to be right now in today's dollars, where whatever right-of-way would cost right now, and for what we know, because there could be underground utilities, there could be a lot of stuff that we run into as these projects progress. So that's, just want to caveat that that cost can definitely change, and usually does as we move out of a planning study and then start moving into the design phase of individual projects. Okay, so I'll start up in the right-hand side. So the orange dot that you see is a new interchange at State Route 60. And then the leading State Route 60, I guess east of there, south of there, is the widening of State Route 60 down to 124, I'm sorry. And then a new extension of State Route 60 down to 53. So the widening of the existing State Route 60, at least in these initial potential recommendations, is a 4-lane, and then the extension right now is only showing a need for 2 lanes. You know, obviously, as we work through these projects, if they become a program project,